Brazil.
Start off with the trap. The trap. Alright, we gonna trap, man. Okay.
Alright, what up YouTube? It's me Rizil and I'm back on the channel with another reaction, and today we are going to be doing another Judge Carlin. It's going to be a stand-up comedy reaction, and this one is titled The 10 Commandments. Last time I reacted to something of Judge Carlin's that was based off of, like, I think, oh wait, religion is bullshit. Why am I forgetting? It's so easy to remember. Religion is bullshit, and I gave an interesting view, and I had interesting conversations in the comment section and stuff. So I wonder if this is going to be around the same area where, like, you know, but hey, either way, it's going to be very interesting to see. Always interested in what this guy has to say. I feel like I'm saying interest a little bit too much. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get to it, guys. Yeah.
Now, folks, here's something else I got a problem with. The 10 Commandments. Here's my problem. Why are there 10? You don't need 10. I think the list of commandments was deliberately and artificially inflated to get it up to 10. It's a padded list. Here's what they did. About 5,000 years ago, a bunch of religious and political hustlers got together to try to figure out how to control people, how to keep them in line. They knew people were basically stupid and would believe anything they were told, so they announced that God had given them some commandments. Up on a mountain, when no one was around, God had given them the 10 Commandments. But let me ask you this. When they were sitting around making this shit up, why did they pick 10? Why 10? Why not 9 or 11? I'll tell you why. Because 10 sounds official. 10 sounds important. They knew if it was 11, people wouldn't take it seriously. Say, what, are you kidding me? The 11 Commandments? Get the fuck out of here. But 10 sounds important. 10 is the basis for the decimal system. It's a decade. It's a psychologically satisfying number. The top 10, the 10 most wanted, the 10 best dressed. So having 10 commandments was really a marketing decision. And to me, it's clearly a bullshit list. It's a political document artificially inflated to sell better. I'm going to show you how you could reduce the number of commandments and come up with a list that's a little more workable and logical. We're going to start with the first 3, and I'll use the Roman Catholic version because those are the ones I was taught as a little boy. I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not have strange gods before me. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Thou shalt keep holy the Sabbath. Right off the bat, the first 3, pure bullshit. Sabbath day, Lord's name, strange gods. Spooky language. Spooky language. Designed to scare and control primitive people. In no way does superstitious nonsense like this apply to the lives of intelligent, civilized humans in the 21st century. You throw out the first 3 commandments, you're down to 7. Next, honor thy father and mother. Obedience, respect for authority. Just another name for controlling people. The truth is, obedience and respect should not be automatic. They should be earned. They should be based on the parent's performance. Parent's performance. Right? Some parents deserve respect. Most of them don't. Period. You're down to 6. Now, in the interest of logic, something religion is very uncomfortable with, we're going to jump around the list a little bit. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Stealing and lying. Well, actually, these two both prohibit the same kind of behavior. Dishonesty, stealing, and lying. So you don't need 2 of them. Instead, you combine them and you call it thou shalt not be dishonest. And suddenly, you're down to 5. And as long as we're combining, I have 2 others that belong together. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Once again, these 2 prohibit the same kind of behavior, in this case, marital infidelity. The difference is coveting takes place in the mind, and I don't think you should outlaw fantasizing about someone else's wife. Otherwise, what's a guy going to think about when he's waxing his carrot? But marital fidelity is a good idea, so we're going to keep the idea and call this one, thou shalt not be unfaithful. And suddenly, we're down to 4. But when you think about it, honesty and fidelity are really part of the same overall value. So in truth, you could combine the 2 honesty commandments with the 2 fidelity commandments and give them simpler language, positive language instead of negative, and call the whole thing, thou shalt always be honest and faithful, and we're down to 3. Thou shalt, they're going away fast. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. This one is just plain fucking stupid. Coveting your neighbor's goods is what keeps the economy going. All right? Your neighbor gets a vibrator that plays "O Come All Ye Faithful." You want to get one too. Coveting creates jobs. Leave it alone. You throw out coveting, you're down to 2 now. The big honesty and fidelity commandment, and the one we haven't talked about yet, thou shalt not kill. Murder. The 5th commandment. But when you think about it, religion has never really had a big problem with murder. Not really. More people have been killed in the name of God than for any other reason. All you have to do is... All you have to do is look at Northern Ireland, the Middle East, Kashmir, the Inquisition, the Crusades, and the World Trade Center to see how seriously the religious folks take thou shalt not kill. The more devout they are, the more they see murder as being negotiable. It's negotiable. You know? It depends. It depends on who's doing the killing and who's getting killed. So, with all of this in mind, I leave you with my revised list of the 2 commandments. Thou shalt always be honest and faithful to the provider of thy nookie. And thou shalt try real hard not to kill anyone, unless, of course, they pray to a different invisible man from the one you pray to. 2 is all you need. Moses could have carried him down the hill in his fucking pocket. And if they had a list like that, I wouldn't mind those folks in Alabama putting it up on the courthouse wall. As long as they included one additional commandment, thou shalt keep thy religion to thyself. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
So much to unpack. I loved this. I'm a Christian, but I love this. A couple of things. First, thou shalt keep thy religion to thyself. I believe that too, because even though I'm a Christian, and I've debated this with even recently a Muslim friend of mine, but as soon as I got really deep into it, that friend just stayed silent. You know, because we were discussing different things. One part of our discussion was the history of how our 2 religions have forced our political and religious leaders have forced our religion on other people instead of letting them make a choice. You know what I'm saying? And basically I think she accused me, or she didn't even accuse, she just pointed out how Christians, sometimes they can be forceful with their religion and stuff like that. And not all Christians, I'm not one. Me, I just talk about my religion, and if you want to believe it or not, I'm cool with you. If you want to research it or not, I'm cool with you, as long as we're not stepping on each other's toes and we're being honest with each other and we being cool and we can shake hands. Dope. But then I was pointed out, hey bro, multiple places around the world, even to this day, they go through jihads, bro. If there's any at least okay, I pointed this out, and I'm not trying to pick on Muslims or anything. Actually, half my friends are Muslim too, so I basically said, if there's any religion that's very very and very rigid, let me just get my words out, okay, that is very very strong in their stance, it's Muslims, bro. It gets intense, bro. That jihad stuff, it gets very intense. Hey man, hey bro, basically I said, at least with Christians you can talk to us nowadays. At least with Christians, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but you can play with our religion, you can make fun of us. You see the Lil Nas X like they're doing renditions of Jesus in their music video. They showing Jesus talking on the devil and everything. They picking on Christians and all. If that was Muslims and stuff, there would be an outrage. But everyone thinks the Christians are people that you can talk to or talk to anyhow or whatever. So I was like, hey, at least we show understanding and we just speak to you nowadays, even though our history hasn't been. It'll take. I have so much to unpack, honestly, guys. It'll take a while for me to unpack that and truly have a conversation with you. We can have it in the comment section. But yeah, two, in terms of thou shalt not covet someone else's wife, I take that seriously. I take that seriously because it's not even a religious thing. I think it's just more like a brotherly thing. I feel a sense of camaraderie with my fellow males a lot of the time, and I feel like if someone has claimed a woman or whatever, not claimed, sorry women, if that feels like I'm like saying there's ownership over you guys, but if someone has locked down a woman, let's say, and they're together and they're in a relationship or they're married, like the woman is off limits. The woman is off limits. I think one of the recent things that happened like a while ago is like me and my cousin, a cousin of mine, we were in like a spot with the same chick. We met her for the first time. She was a friend of our other family member, and then we were feeling her, but she was feeling him more. And even though I shot my shot and everything, and I said a couple of things, she went for him. So after that, even though it's just a relationship, I was like, hey, from now on, me and this girl. So me, I take that shit very seriously. Even when she tried to hug me, I was like, no, please don't hug me, don't. So I take that shit seriously. I think the only person I've ever like fantasized about is a chick that I liked for a very long time. She got married. So now it's like, fuck. I've wanted her for so long, but now she's married. So I take that seriously. But all in all, in terms of these commandments things, that was so little to unpack, honestly. I don't know why I took so long. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. But in terms of the commandments things, what do I attribute to the problem with the problem that I've had with the way these things are structured or the way some of these things are put? The problem I have with it is, one, in terms of the 10 commandments, when they're initially introduced in the Bible, they're not even 10. Like they say it's the 10 commandments, but then when you read the scripture, for those who've read the Bible, I've read the whole Old Testament. I'm halfway through the New Testament, but when you read it, it's more than 10 commandments. So you're wondering, like, first off, when you read the scripture, like, why are they calling this the 10 commandments when this is obviously more than 10 commandments? So I don't know if George Carlin like really like read it properly or something. He's a smart man. Like, I know his credentials, but I sometimes I sit and wonder, like, in terms of these things, has he read it properly? Because first off, that's one hole. It's not even a hole. It's just a discrepancy in what he was describing. It's like when you read that scripture for the first time, it's more than 10. And then when you go deeper into the books of Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, etc., the new laws that keep being broken down and all, but the religious leaders of that time, the Jews of that time, extend even further, because the initial 10 commandments, for example, didn't have anything to do with like homosexuality or transsexuality or whatever, which was actually a thing even back then, cross-dressing, etc. But then when you keep going, it's like the laws keep extending. So you're like, okay, the religious leaders and the political leaders of that time, they're expanding the laws now. So now it's like you sit and wonder, is this God? Because God initially, like you said, you went up in the mountain and then he gave you these laws, and now I see like these laws are expanding. So is God telling you to expand these things, or are you expanding these things as per the different things that you're now dealing with in your new society and how you're trying to govern that society, you know? So it further expands, like specific laws even expand to even like killing people for the sake of them not following those laws, instead of them having the rights to make a choice, even if it's the wrong choice, whether it's the wrong choice to you or the wrong choice in general, to make the choice for themselves, and then after that let them deal with the consequences, or let the consequences befall on them naturally, aside from them putting their hands on anyone or invading into anyone's life in a way that endangers them. You shouldn't be putting your hands on anyone. So it's like, okay, it's calling for the like death of homosexuals and like transsexuals and all these different things. They're saying someone should be put to death for adultery. It's like, okay, adultery is bad, and I know like some people, like when you get cheated on or whatever, multiple people say, I'll kill you, You know what I'm saying? Everyone wants to kill someone for cheating on them. Not everyone, but like in general, like you feel that sense of anger and betrayal. But if you really think about it, guys, if you really like sit and think about it, you don't need to kill anyone for cheating on you. You can easily just walk away. Unless you have kids, then it's messy. You can easily walk away, lick up your wounds. Honestly speaking, most people that cheat, I'm not saying they don't win in the end. Some people that cheat, they end up being okay, I guess. I've just never seen anyone who's cheated on anyone. Like from my own personal experience of like my father and my mother, my father cheating on my mother and all. Like I've never seen anyone cheating, whether in marriage or outside, and then it just naturally like works out for them. It always ends bad. So cheating on one hand, like even though it's like hurtful, especially personally for someone, it's not something that it requires for society to gang up together and say okay. Especially like it's mostly related to even killing the woman. Like people are more in the Bible, if you look at it, it's more relating to killing and stoning the woman than the guy. So immediately you're looking at it with the eyebrow like, okay, why only the woman? Why not the guy? Because even in the Bible, the guys, like, they do some horrible stuff in the Bible in the name of, they even fuck other people's wives. Like King David fucked a soldier of his wife. He got her pregnant. He tried to sneak the guy back in from war and like shake his hand and ask how the people are doing, and then send him home to sleep with his wife, because that's the first thing a guy is thinking of when he comes back from war. I'm gonna go home and fuck my wife, and then you can go back to war. But the guy wouldn't, because he was like, no, the homies are in the battlefield, and I can't be fucking my wife while my niggas are dying outside. So King David saw he wasn't gonna go and fuck his wife, so he orchestrated this man's death because he didn't want the nation to find out. He fucked someone's wife and got her pregnant, and that was that. Like, men do horrible shit in the name of like fucking like women in general, or even like sleeping with other people's wives. Like there's multiple things of like, hey, if we go into this land, say you my sister cause they'll kill me. If you say you my wife cause they wanna fuck you, but like you my wife so they'll kill me and then fuck you, or they'll fuck you in my presence. Like, and then women always get the brunt of like the harsh realities of that society. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of things are very questionable, especially in the Old Testament. That's why when anyone asks me like, oh, like what is this bullshit you Christians like, you like worshiping and stuff, like people basically put it like that in whatever form. That's basically what a lot of people who don't believe in Christianity or religion think. And me, I always say one thing, and one thing I respond like this: tips for any Christian. You don't have to take this, is just me just like talking to you. I say simply, we follow the laws of Jesus Christ. Because Christians is under the name Christ, as in Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ, when he came down, he changed everything. If you look at the career of Jesus Christ and everything in his ministry, he never went as per those old laws. Everything they said, no, you must do this on the Sabbath. You know, George Carlin talked about the Sabbath. You must do that. You must be this way. You must be that way. Jesus totally revitalized and revamped and flipped the script on everything they said or society said you must do in order to be a good follower of God. And they killed him for it. Like, Jesus went so far in terms of his new ways and new outlooks, in terms of like the different principles and the different things he taught. If you look at the history of it and everything, they literally, like, it literally became political. It was more than religion. A lot of people like to point as like the contest between good and evil. The devil was looking to get Jesus assassinated. You know, Jesus had to be assassinated and crucified to free our souls and all. But if you really look at it in terms of like the human aspects of that entire story, it was very political. He was getting too popular. He was getting too like, it was almost like, no, he's influencing the masses too much, and he's shifting like he's shifting people's minds from how we want them to act as per the laws that have been established in this nation of Abraham, to a new way that is going to take them away from being under us, being under our rule. And that's going to make it even difficult, because the Pharisees and the politicians and everyone at the time, even the monarchs at the time, were serving the Romans, were serving Caesar. So they murdered him. And they murdered all the other Christians that started trying to follow those rules and everything. But not to make them too much of martyrs, because we basically all saw what happened when Christianity became more than just the new thing in the world, and then expanded into further into the world and gained power and gained notoriety amongst people who who either like associated with its laws or try to manipulate its laws in order to for their own self-interest. And then a lot of people got murdered in the name of we follow Christianity. So there's a whole lot to unpack, guys. It's it's a lot, guys. I could talk about this all the time, but basically in terms of this reaction, I'm sorry for rambling so much, but I agree with George Carlin, dude, in a lot of these things. Not in terms of him saying like God isn't real, the invisible man. We can talk about it all day. I can explain to you why I believe, etc., etc. But all in all, in terms of this, the specific things, I agree with like a lot of them. Not all of them, because obviously, and it's not even not all of them because I agree, because no, God exists. It's mostly because there's some holes in, especially the beginning of what he said and everything, because I actually know and I've actually read it and I've actually studied it. So there's initially a hole over there, but everything else, it's like, yeah, George Carlin is making a lot of sense. So, hey, Ben, that's been me. I really like this. I really love this. George Carlin is just like, comment, subscribe, hit the post notifications, and you guys have a good day. This was very enjoyable. Take care.
Slick nigga shooting the shot with no Uzi. This ain't a bar, it's a roofie, ayy. Shit the spot like a G in a coochie. Thinking I'm making a movie, ayy. Bleed for your weed like you reppin' the red and the green like you model for Gucci, ayy. I got the juice while I sip on a smoothie. All of you